Welcome to part 3. Now we are going to assemble our model inside of APE. So, open up your launcher, and now open up APE. You are going to create a new GDT. Name it whatever you want. In this case, I am going to name it Honey. Now, to organize this, to only view that, select the GDT and type in Honey. Now, I'm going to create a new asset. This is going to be honey underscore VM for the view model. And we are going to select X model. Press OK. File for the LOD0. Locate your view model. And as you notice, it is now working. It is inside of APE. The only thing is, we have to apply the texture. So, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down to Materials. You're going to see Material Honey Badger. Press OK. Change this to Lit. Surface type, we are going to do Metal for now. We'll mess around. I'll probably change it in a few seconds, but for now we're going to do Gloss Range and Surface type as Metal. Color Map. Create. And select the texture. Go to the model export, find your weapon, and select the weapon file. Now, as you can see, our model is fully working with the texture. Now we have to apply the normal. So normal map. And there we go. Now as you can see, if we look at our material, with the normal map applied, you can now see there's little light dents happening on the image. So if we go to our model, there's a lot more depth to it. When light hits it, there are little details that you couldn't see. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to keep it on metal. I don't think I'm going to put it on plastic. But other than that, we have to do the sights. Change this to Lit. Surface type, we are going to use Metal again. And Metal. You can change it to whatever you want. There's no restriction. It's just whatever you feel like. The texture, we're going to select. And again, select our normal map. And there we go. As you can see, there's now some depth when it comes to light. And if we look at our model, the iron sights are now applied. Now if we change this to dark, night mode, our green does not illuminate itself, but in a separate tutorial I will show you how to make it emissive and glow. But right now we're just going to be kind of noobish and get the main point across of exporting the weapon. So we now have our view model. We now need to create 2 more. So new asset, this is an X model. And we are going to name it honey underscore world model. Select the world model. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, I'm trying to be consistent. And since we already have these applied, the 360s are broken. Fuck the 360s. But at least we know that was for the world model. But you can easily apply the same thing. So if I copy the asset name, I can easily paste it right here. Press enter, and there you go. It's applied. And then go ahead and select the iron sights, copy the asset name, and select, and enter. Now, if I go to lighting and I go to day, you can notice that it is kinda wonky. Doesn't really look how we want it. So I think at this point we are going to scrap this world model, mainly because the texture is broken. But do not fear. You do need to learn. It was not a waste of time. You do need to learn how to export models and or world models. So, I'm going to kindly just delete this. And for the world model, we will use the view model because there's no gaps or anything and it's complete on the other side. We'll use the view model as the world model. So, bullet collision, I'm just going to put LOD0. It does help sometimes. And make sure it is on animated. If it is not on animated, well, how the hell do you think your gun is going to move? So, anyways, moving on. New asset. Honey underscore base. Select honey underscore base. And there you go. See, this one works. Now, well, this one didn't even matter. This one also has to be on animated. Now we're going to start importing our animations. This is where it gets kind of tedious, but you do need to remember that you need to take your time. So, new asset. We are going to select xanim, and this is where you rename it. So honey underscore idle. Now this is very important. Because this is idle, push looping and loop sync, and for all of them, do not have use bones on. The only time you're going to use looping is for idle and sprint loop. That is it. Now, select your anim file. Honey underscore idle. Select the model file, which is your anim base. So, in our case, it's honey underscore base. You are going to scroll down and type in honey, and then base will be right there. The reason being, so then you can see your animation that is going to be played. So if I go back to it to let it load, it'll play. Oh, and you need to have this on relative. That is also extremely important. Otherwise it will not play. I was wondering why it wasn't working. You can see the frames if you tick this on. And right there is the frames. So, if we duplicate this, because it's very easy, let's do the reload animation. Take off looping sync, and select reload. And as you can see, if we go back onto it, the reload animation is working, and it tells us our frames. We are going to duplicate this again, and I'm going to pause the video, and you just keep duplicating until you have all your animations in place. Okay, now that you have all your animations in, you can see that they're all working, you now need to make a weapon file. So new asset, we're going to do bullet weapon, and you're going to name this whatever you want. So I need to name this honey, but in game we'll name it honey badger. So moving on, this is our weapon file. Display name, this is what's going to show like on your HUD. So honey badger. In-game name, honey badger. I just do it for consistency reasons, but I know the first one I'll put capitals in because it's going to be viewed on my HUD. Not Hyundai, it's honey. Okay, so the player anim type is default. Inventory, it's a primary. Type, bullet, class, rifle. Now, this is an assault rifle. If it was an SMG, choose SMG, pistol, pistol, all that stuff. But this is an assault rifle from Call of Duty Ghosts. I think. I'm pretty sure it was an assault rifle, but either way. Penetration, we need to do medium. Impact type, bullet underscore. I'm going to do medium since it's a bigger one. Let's do bullet underscore large. Fire type, it's a full auto. Clip type, bottom. Okay, now ammo options, don't mess with that. Type option, melee field, reload options. ADS, tick ADS for aim down sight. If you do not tick this, then you will not be able to aim down your sight. Again, you can mess around with whatever you want. We are going to check silenced. Now I don't know if it's actually going to add a attachment onto there, so I may take it off in the future, but for right now we'll just do that. Weapon perks, crosshair options, don't mess with that. Lock on movement, sprinting, aim assist, ammunition. Okay, so ammo name, honey. These do need to be different names from any other gun, so keep that in mind. The clip size. I don't officially know the weapon clip, so I'd have to go in-game. But for now, just as an example, when I release it, I'll mess around. But for now, let's just do 30 as the clip size. And the max stock ammo, we'll do 300. And the start ammo, we'll put 250. Now the drop minimum, we'll do 25. And the drop max, 60. Drop clip, we'll make it 27. Okay. That's good for that. Now the damage. This can be whatever you want. I am going to make this 200. 200 seems like a good one. At those ranges. Now damage here, it'll be 30 at 1,800. I'm just going to take a 0 off just in case. And you can experiment with those, but since we don't have a weapon file to look at, you kind of have to guess. Now, state timers. These are important. So depending on how fast you want your gun to fire, you edit this. So I'm going to put mine at 0.9. So it's not too fast and not too chunky. 0.8 is like a big SMG, but the Honey Badger shoots kind of fast, so I'm going to put it at 0.9. I don't think we're going to need to mess with these. If you are unsatisfied with a certain timer, just go ahead and change those. Other than that, we can move on. Okay, so stand, movement settings, crouch, and prone. Now this is going to take quite a bit, but don't worry. It's not going to take long. I'm going to pull up my Thompson that I just ported in a little bit ago. And I'm going to copy these assets so that it's not all over the place. If you want to, you can pause the screen when I copy this. So 110, 410, 5. Okay, that's the same. So if you want to copy these down, go ahead. Okay. And if you want to pause the video and copy these down, you may. Moving on to the prone. If you want to copy these down, you may. Okay. Now, most of these, again, you'll have to mess around with in the future, or you can wait on me. But I'm not going to waste your time. We're not going to mess with kick settings. If we do, then we mess with kick settings, but not right now. And that is something you're going to have to play with and or look at someone's template. But it is kind of a lengthy process of copying and pasting. So I'm going to actually pause the video for you right now, do the kick settings, and then let you pause the screen. So hold on. If you'd like to copy these down, you may. Okay, moving on. Make sure you're pausing the screen when you're doing that. If you'd like to copy these settings down, you may. Okay. With the sway settings, we just changed them to 20. The two reds. Okay. Reticle settings. Center reticle, let me copy this really quick. If you'd like to type it in right now, you may. I'm going to use the same as these, so 4 and 8. It's a pretty good size. Even though the ones I used were SMGs, this is still a pretty decent size. And the X models. So this is an important part, or at least one important part. So, honey underscore view model. Front end gun, world gun, here we go, honey underscore world model. Yes, I remember we are using the view model for our world model. There we go. Now, this is where things kind of get tricky. So this is where you're going to type in all those anims that you posted here, and you're going to type those names into here. They'll pop up for you, thankfully. So honey underscore idle, I'm going to put an underscore right there, and I suggest you just copy the first phrase because it really does speed everything up. Okay, empty idle, fire, last shot, we're going to use settle. Reload. Bam, reload empty. Raise. Which is pull out. And this is put away. First raise. quick raise if you have one. If not, use the same animation as before. So this one I'm going to do pull out fast and put away fast. Empty raise, you do need these to be these animations that you have up here, or else nothing's going to happen if you have an empty weapon, and it's just going to look weird and it's going to look broken. Okay, and the sprint anims. Sorry about that, folks. Sprint in, sprint loop, and sprint out. And I don't think we're going to do the crawling. ADS fire, ADS up, and ADS down. And that, I believe, is everything. Now slide in, if you want it to look good. I recommend doing the sprint out animation. And then for this, do idle. Sprint loop, or slide loop, sorry. And slide out. Okay. Wall run, just do idle. And that's it. For the FX, you need to have a flash. Now, they don't have a lot of flash or a lot of FX for this at the moment. So you're gonna go to FX, weapon, and you're gonna choose whatever you want. There's medium, but all this is weird. So some are smoke, some are different stuff. Just do the pistol, okay? So 1P is first person, 3P is third person. So World Flash Picks would be the third person. So I'm going to copy that and just change the 1 to a 3. There we go. View shell eject. Again, go to FX, weapon, shell ejects pistol. Copy and paste and paste. Okay. A lot of different effects. Now, impacts. This is something you do need. So, enter impacts, bullet small enter, bullet small exit, bullet impact, and bullet exit. There you go. So now your gun will have impacts, aka it'll show blood on the zombies, it'll actually put bullet holes everywhere, and yeah. Okay, now the sounds. This is going to be the fire alias, okay? So you gotta keep this in mind of what you're naming it. I'm going to try and stay consistent, so honey underscore fire. And then the next one, here I'll paste this, underscore PLR standing for player. Okay. Do not mess with all the others. And I think that should be it. Okay, so if we go back to this, all our animations, we're going to set up the sounds, which will be in the next tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and save all.